So, we're delighted to be here today with Gill South, who's the author of Because We're Worth It. And this is Galia BarHava-Monteith, who's my business partner in Professionelle. And I'm Sarah Wilshaw-Sparkes. And Gill's book is, as she's described it, a where-to from here for today's working mother. So welcome, Gill, and thank you for coming along.
Thank you very much, Sarah and Galia.
Gill, perhaps we could start with the obvious question of what brought you to write this book? You're very honest in the early stages of it about your experiences as a worker, a stay-at-home mum and a working mum. But where in all that did the idea of the book come from?
I guess it all began with the idea that I'd love to write a magazine for working mothers. I used to read a magazine when I was a stay-at-home mum in America, and it was called Working Mother, and I used to just gobble it up every month, even though at the time I wasn't working, but I was intending to go back to work. And when I came to New Zealand, I was immediately swept up in the new launch of the Herald on Sunday newspaper, and there I was very much a working mother, and I did that for a couple of years. But after that, I sort of went back to this idea of, you know, gee, I'd love to publish a magazine for working mothers, and I could just never get a publisher to quite take the deep breath and do it. So I went to Penguin and talked to them about a number of book ideas, and they really loved the working mother ideas and all the challenges that there are for women these days in the work environment.
So why are you so passionate about the idea of women continuing to work while they're mothers?
I think that women just seem to feel the need to defend themselves in their decisions to work, as well as having families, and I think, you know, that hopefully that women have evolved more where they don't have to defend themselves, they don't have to explain, they just say, I work because I want to.
When you wrote the book, who did you write it for? Who was sort of the target audience in your mind? Who are the women?
There are a number of women that I wrote it for. I wrote it for women who haven't even started having babies yet, you know, who are sailing along, enjoying their careers, thinking life's always going to be like this, and, you know, yes, I'd quite like some children, and they'll come along at some stage and they'll just fit in and it'll all be fine. And I wrote it for women who are going through it at the moment, I guess women like me whose kids are still relatively young and, you know, certainly, you know, want as much mummy time as they can get, but on the other hand, they also get an awful lot from the time they spend with their dad and their grandmother and, you know, fabulous babysitters and things.
Well, Gill, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks, Sarah.
Best of luck with the book, and we'll be spreading the word about Because We're Worth It.
Yes, and I'd love to get some feedback from Professionelle women on the book too.
Professionelle members, you can link to the book and purchase it online, and we'd love to hear your thoughts about Gill's book. I don't think there's anything else like that in New Zealand, is there?
No, there was a few years ago, Sarah Boyd, who I interviewed in the book, wrote the 48-hour shift, but it was essentially, I think, about 13 case studies of women and how they were doing the work-life balance.
Okay.
Thank you
very much, Gill.
Thank you.